Hey guys, we have a very powerful next couple days of energy unfolding before us. Pluto is stationing direct on Saturday the 8th, you guys, in a trine to Mercury. We have our third Mercury-Pluto trine in the sky in Earth signs happening the day before Pluto stations direct. We also have the Sun in opposition to Chiron on Friday. There is likely to be some profound, powerful encounters, conversations, experiences going on that may be triggering our wounds on one hand, but on the other hand are really shifting our perspective in a way that can lead to some real healing that perhaps has needed to take place for a while. There is a massive transformative influence playing out over this next couple days. Themes of power are likely to be very, very prominent in the field, and there is a lot of astrology going on the outskirts of these transits, and we've got a lot to talk about that is playing out between now and Saturday, leading into our full moon in Aries that's happening on Sunday. So you guys, let's get into the charts. Let's look at this next couple of days and see what is coming at us in the context of this full moon that we are heading towards. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, October 7th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. I'm actually in this report doing a double. We're going to be talking about Friday, the 7th, and also Saturday, tomorrow, the 8th. Normally, I do weekend reports to wrap up the week that encompass Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But you guys, since we have this full moon that is playing out on Sunday, I actually already recorded my full moon video and I released it the day before I'm releasing this video. So if you haven't seen that one yet, that is the video that is actually supposed to go after this one, but since it's a full moon, I wanted to release it in advance so that people could sort of get a feel for what we have coming with that energy. But today, Friday, October 8th, or Friday, October 7th, moving into the 8th, moving into the 9th, which will host our full moon, we've got a lot going on, you guys, that is setting us up for that. Now, just to sort of foreshadow things a little bit, that full moon is going to be in a conjunction to Chiron, and it is really sort of activating a collective hero's journey across the greater whole of humanity on an energetic and vibrational, very emotional level over this next full moon cycle, this next couple of weeks we have playing out as we head towards the new moon in Scorpio. This is bringing sort of a soul healing, and it's interesting because Pluto, which I'm going to talk about in this report, is stationing direct the day before our full moon that we have in the conjunction to Chiron. And Pluto rules like power in all of its forms, and transformation and purge and regeneration and like the deepest, darkest like recesses of our mind and our subconscious mind and our subconscious programming, and the toxic attachments that we bind ourselves to out of a lack of self-empowerment or a lack of perceived internal value, and where we're willing to surrender our power and how we relate to our own power. All of these things wrapped up in Pluto archetype. And while Pluto has been retrograde, this has really been bringing sort of an internalized transformation in regards to our relationship to our own power. And with Pluto stationing direct, this is going to, I feel like, have a very massive and powerful impact on the world stage generally. I think we're going to see this really show up on like a geopolitical level and on a macrocosm level, but also in the context of our own personal lives and our shift of ages right now, our personal paradigm shifts that we're going on at an individual level. And then, of course, that is what extrapolates to the collective that really creates the greater overall paradigm shift. It's coming down to our ability to transmute a lot of our wounding and our states of victimhood and rise into a sense of self-mastery that is in alignment with self-empowerment and understanding the truth of our value. And I feel like the Chiron archetype, this hero's journey, this process of self-actualization, this process of inner alchemization is very much in some ways related to the Pluto archetype and to the Pluto dynamic, and this like purge and regeneration and transformative effect that the energy also brings as we are going through our Phoenix moment, as we are going through like our dark night of the soul that is purifying us and allowing us to come to like an even greater evolution of our own potential and of our own possibilities. I feel like this is sort of what is being indicated is happening at this period of time. And now that we have Pluto stationing direct, it's like we are ready to sort of take these internalized shifts that have been going on in relation to our own power and start embodying them, start exhibiting them in a more like physical, tangible way. We also have Pluto in the sign of Capricorn right now, and that is doing a lot in terms of also dissolving and sort of like bringing down the power and control matrices and hierarchies of the past as an element of our transition of ages right now. But in our personal lives, I feel like this is helping to bring us all back to a state of personal self-empowerment. And, it's not just that we have Pluto stationing direct. I feel this way because of the balance of the other planets and what is going on in the context of their placements as well. But I do think that this Pluto direct is really going to sort of have us feeling, a greater sense of ability to stand in our own truth without so much fear of what we might lose perhaps in that process. I feel like it is just going to be having a generally empowering impact that is helping to move us in the direction of who we're really being called to become, I guess, at this point in time. So very powerful sequence of days and energies that we have coming in right now. And again, and I will talk about all of this more as we get through this report, but Mercury in the trine to Pluto as well. This is the third Mercury-Pluto trine we've had over the past several weeks. And there is just a mental transformation that is very much encompassed in what is playing out as well. But okay, let's start with the energy for Friday. Friday's energy on the 7th. Today we have an exact Sun Chiron opposition, and Mercury and Pluto will be coming into an exact trine as well. On Friday the 7th, we are also going to have a moon in Pisces that is going to be setting off this like persisting T-square of planets we have going on right now in mutable signs: Mars in Gemini, Neptune in Pisces, Mercury in Virgo. So starting sort of at the top, I do feel like on Friday, as we are beginning this 3-day period that is really bringing this opportunity for some really like cathartic healing, purging, purification, regeneration, transformation of both our emotional and our mental bodies going on right now. I do feel like there could be an element of the energy where we feel like things are coming back around. Like we find ourselves sort of like re-experiencing things that maybe we thought we were done with, or just an element of past patterning may be coming up on Friday. Old wounds, old traumas, like things that maybe we thought we had moved on from might be coming to the surface now. And this could specifically also be in regards to relationship dynamics, where we've been wounded in relationships, and the relationship dynamic that we have with our own selves. If you guys watched my full moon video, or you plan on watching it, one of the major things I talked about is I feel like this full moon has a lot to do with placing a greater prominence and a greater focus on our relationship to our own self. And this I feel like is really sort of coming into the picture on Friday, as we have the sun coming into this opposition with Chiron. Could be bringing up, like I said, old cycles of trauma and wounding, but it's so that we can acknowledge it and understand it, transmute and release. Remember, we do have this Pluto energy playing out as well. Mercury in the trine to Pluto. Mercury in trine to Pluto is the digging for truth aspect. We are adamant about it doesn't matter how ugly that truth is. It doesn't matter how much darkness we have to dig through to get it. Like we are focused on figuring things out for ourselves, even if it's, like I said, not the most pretty picture that we end up discovering. This is a very like detective research oriented aspect, Mercury in a trine to Pluto. And this is the third time that we've had this Mercury trine Pluto. Actually, there could be things coming up in the energy today that are related to something we began learning around August 22nd, September 27th as well. Those were the other two hits of Mercury and Pluto because of Mercury's retrograde process. And this is an earth sign. This could be about money and finances and like material based stuff as well. Or it could just be referencing the fact that this is tangibly happening. These are experiences that were happening. These aren't just things that we're thinking about or that is inspiring us or that we're like feeling within our emotional body. When we're talking about earth signs, this is stuff actually happening. So this could be real encounters, real conversations, like real news that we are holding in our hands and like, reading like tangibly, physically, like feeling in front of us. that is massively changing things. Mercury trine Pluto, mental shifts, mental transformation, secrets revealed in the context of this Sun Chiron opposition, which could be bringing things up. This could be like us finally getting to the root of some unhealed trauma within us, and then this regeneration and this transformation and this purification aspect of Pluto as well, really like gaining some type of an epiphany or some type of understanding or some type of just like really in-depth knowledge about something that could have to do again with like these deep subconscious wounds or traumas that have been going on and the patterns that have developed as a result of that have been keeping us in these cyclical situations of attracting like the same thing over and over until we come to a moment like this energetically where we have the ability to see it and to reflect upon it and to really through that awareness find a solution, find a cure, find like a remedy that resolves the root issue when we're dealing with Pluto. So this is definitely a dimension of the energy as it's playing out today. And it's so interesting because the sun on Friday is coming to 15 degrees of Libra. That Sabian symbol is circular paths. And then we have the earth, of course, always in a polar opposition to the sun at 15 degrees of Aries. That Sabian symbol is an Indian weaving a blanket. So bringing things back around, circular paths, so that we can weave a new pattern into them. What are the patterns that have been woven into our existence up until this point, and what changes to the design do we need to make now to change the pattern, to get off the merry-go-round, to end the Groundhog's Day, to break the cycle? That's what this energy is helping us to do with Mercury and trine to Pluto, as Pluto is about to station direct, and we are going towards this full moon in a conjunction to Chiron, and the sun opposing Chiron to set us up for this energy, building into this energy. We are gaining an ability to really heal these wounds on a really deep level through breaking these cycles. And you know, this whole year, like I've been talking about, this whole year 2022 has a lot to do with breaking cycles of generational trauma and generational karma, so that we can release ourselves to move out of the old energetic paradigm and head in this new direction, build these new legacies and start these new like futures in alignment with the truths that we're coming from now, that are detached from the detachment from self that was very prominent in the age of Pisces energy. So, you know, what patterns that have been woven into our current state of things and are we dealing with now, and what changes do we need to make? This is also, that same dynamic is really being represented by Saturn square Uranus, which is also an exact effect right now. Saturn square Uranus is also trying to break us out of these rigid patterns and structures that we've created for ourselves that are out of alignment with the truth of like our soul's purpose, essentially, this time around. And then with this full moon coming up, we are really healing our souls in a lot of ways. And today, moving into that energy, we are being perhaps triggered and shown our wounds so that we can heal in a way that is promoting our success along these lines and making these changes and re-identifying with and aligning with the truth of ourselves. So that, I mean, the ultimate purpose of this is, you guys, to help us unlock life of like real, honest, like fulfillment and servitude in a way that makes us feel purposeful. And we're at a point right now where we've really got to like step up to the plate and figure out how to free ourselves from that which has been preventing us from going in that direction. And universe is doing that through all of these transits going on right now. Now, another thing that we have playing out today, aside from the sun Chiron opposition and Mercury and trine to Pluto, we also have the moon in the sign of Pisces, which is going to be setting off, like I said, this T-square that we've had persisting between Neptune and Pisces retrograde, Mars slowing down in the sign of Gemini, and also Mercury having recently just stationed direct in the sign of in the sign of Virgo. Now, this T-square is a tricky one. You know, it can be just kicking up like a general sense of disappointment, feeling low, discouraged, confused, disoriented, kind of just like wanting to escape from reality, like not wanting to have to actively engage in like what's unfolding in our lives at this point in time, feeling impotent in a lot of ways too, like we just can't act, or like our actions are not effective, or like everything we do is like met with just like discouragement or things sort of like falling apart in one way or another. We could also find ourselves like being caught in some type of slander or gossip, false narrative, projections as well, and just lacking motivation, feeling depressed, caught in limbo, and maybe like pulled in multiple directions as well, pulled in two different directions. There could also be a lot of like fights and conflicts going on within families and within friend groups and within siblings, and within social circles and stuff like that, based on some very polarized viewpoints that might be surfacing at this point in time as well. So there is that dimension of things. And if you feel just kind of like ick right now, sort of like on the side of things and just like low energy and just kind of like not motivated to do the things that you normally do, that is something that is very much wrapped up in that. That is something that is also being spoken about in our full moon energy. Universe is supporting us right now and sort of taking a break when we need to, stepping back when we need to. If we feel like we're getting a little overwhelmed, like not being afraid to like cancel plans or take a rain check or take an extra nap or just sort of like cut ourselves off from everything for a little bit. Like there is indications that there is a need to be more reflective, more meditative, more sort of like self-withdrawn in this energy if we are feeling like caught in this Mars, Mercury, Neptune T-square. And then with the moon coming there as well today, this could be like quite emotionally disorienting in the context of the Sun Chiron opposition that we have going on, and also the Mercury Pluto trine that we have going on. You know, this Mercury Pluto trine that we have, it does represent these like bombshell revelations and these secrets revealed, seeing the truth, getting to the bottom of things, solutions to ongoing problems. But it's like everything that may be coming up right now, everything that we may be finding out, and the wounds that may be being triggered within us, and what we might be discovering about ourselves or our relationships or all of that. Like it could just really have us feeling low, feeling discouraged, feeling like we just want to hide from things, escape from things, not have to, have the confrontations that we want to have, maybe feeling more passive aggressive or just sort of a bit all over the place. So we just kind of need to be aware that that is playing out right now and give ourselves the space that we need and not be pushing ourselves too hard on a physical level in this energy, because it can really have an impact of like lowering our immune system and stuff like that. And we don't want to go there. But ultimately, once we get out of, we have this Mars square Neptune that is really persisting throughout the course of this month, because I do feel on a greater level, this Mars square Neptune is busting us out, destroying some illusions that we have been, like some boxes maybe that we've been keeping ourselves in as a result of being in a state of over idealizing something or fantasizing about something, or just being in some type of an illusion or fantasy or hypnosis, or falling prey to some type of false narrative or something. I do feel like on one hand, the square is actually trying to destroy the illusions that we've been operating under and that have been holding back our ability to act, that have been confusing our ability to take proper action or make a proper choice or make a proper decision in one way or another. However, as we're caught up in this energy, it really does debilitate our ability to act. And with Mars in the sign of Gemini, it debilitates our ability to choose as well, and it lowers our physical energy level. So while we have all of this playing out, if you're feeling sort of just like a hot mess, honestly, like it probably has to do with this T-square playing out, and especially with the moon hitting that today. But Mercury Pluto, number 3, you guys, like this is big time, especially with Mercury about to station direct tomorrow. Like I said, mental transformations, empowering the mind to seek deep truth, solutions to lasting problems in one way or another. This Mercury is also the news and the media and social media and what we're talking about and what we're thinking about. News about powerful people in government, Pluto and Capricorn, and abuses of power or corruption behind the scenes. This aspect is really trying to expose abuses of power that have been going on within authority, within leadership, within government, that has not been having a productive impact on the greater whole of things. Remember, this is in the context of Saturn square Uranus, Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn in an exact square to Uranus. Uranus is the great rectifier, you guys. Uranus puts things right. Mercury in the trine to Pluto. Finding out, seeing the truth, information, news, like talking about, conversations about, like information, learning about Pluto and Capricorn powerful people in high places that have not been acting properly, Saturn square Uranus, like this is coming out. This is up for rectification, and it could be quite shocking, quite unexpected. This is also, to me, Uranus in the sign of Taurus right now. This could impact financial markets, economies, resources, supply chains, food, generally, things growing from the earth. And another thing that I wanted to say, because this has been on my mind the past couple days, thinking about also Mars and square to Neptune. This is another fierce aspect that can bring really powerful storms. Uranus square Saturn also can bring very powerful storms, like literally shaking the earth. And then Mars and square to Neptune, this is powerful ocean storms, powerful hurricanes, powerful water storms. Mars and square to Neptune. Neptune also rules oil, and it rules everything deep, like deep under the sea, okay? Under the sea. And Mars right now is in the sign of Gemini. There's, I'm pretty sure, also like internet cables that run deep under the sea, and oil pipelines and stuff like that. Like there has already been some big stuff going on with stuff like that, and I do feel like that is directly indicative of Mars squaring Neptune. So the undersea internet cables and stuff, Mars and Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces, like wars, info wars, media, there could be something along those lines that happens as well. And I've been meaning to say that, and I keep forgetting, but that is something that has been coming up for me. Just like things under the sea, attacks on things deep under the sea that are having some type of impact on not relationships, well, relationships too in this Libra cycle, but the Taurus things, resources, supply chains, financial markets, stuff like that. I don't know, you guys, but this is pretty big time what we've got going on here. And with Pluto about, like I said, to station direct tomorrow, right before this powerful full moon in Aries, extra significance we got going on. And also the position of Mercury today, third time, 27 degrees of Virgo in the trine to Pluto, 27 Capricorn. That Sabian symbol is aristocratic elderly ladies drinking afternoon tea in a wealthy home. And this Sabian symbol to me is like it makes me think of like spilling the tea, that like phrase saying that's like hearing the gossip, what's been going on, what's the story, like what's the tea on the situation. That is what I find to be very ironic about the specific placement of Mercury in trine to Pluto, which is about that, what's been going on behind the scenes. And then we need to be careful though, you guys, because I'm telling you, we are in such such polarized energy, especially in terms of the information coming out. Mars in the sign of Gemini, this information war. On one hand, Mercury trine Pluto, we are getting the truth, the deep secrets that have been hidden that need to come to the surface to make major fundamental dynamic changes in regards to realigning things in a way that is no longer constricting the growth of the overall whole. Pluto Capricorn, Saturn square Uranus, Mercury trine Pluto. However, Mars square Neptune, you guys, that is like classic propaganda. That is like classic media projection distortion. That is like classic false narratives used as a weapon to invoke action that goes against, or that is like illusionary or delusional in some type of a way that is not based in reality. So, and it's just, Mars and Gemini, like all of this energy represented by these polarities, by these dichotomies, by these opposing viewpoints, these opposing sides. On one hand, we are getting the deep truth, the real deal, like the what's been going on. On the other hand, everything is being spun in such a way that you can't determine really fantasy from reality at this point in time. And like because of that, we are in a state of limbo. Like we can't act. It's like suspended animation. And that's also Mars and square to Gemini, or Mars and square to Neptune. And like that's what I'm saying. Like it's an observation time, you guys. This is a period of reflection. We should not be taking what people come to us with and running with it as though that is what is going to happen. This is a point of data accumulation and like just being the owl in the tree, right? And observing what is going on below and not making judgments necessarily, not attaching emotionally to what we're discovering, but sort of viewing everything as potentials in sort of us being able to piece together this real picture. Looking for like correlations, like using things like we do with the tarot and like using different modalities to like validate each other, and then like parceling out like the pieces that we find to be like repeatedly true over and over again. It's like a code. We're decoding reality right now because it's so hard to decipher what is true and what is false when there's so much truth coming out, but there's also so much spin on everything that's coming out that it's like, that they're painting the truth as the inversion of the truth is the fallacy, and the fallacy is being painted as the truth, and it's like, leaves us in a place where we really shouldn't be taking an action based on what's being presented to us because we just don't have the orientation necessarily of figuring out. But if we collect the data, if we like take everything in and then we really comb through it, Mars trine Saturn right now as well, that's another thing. We also simultaneously have this grand trine and air playing out between Saturn, Sun, and Mars. This, you guys, is tremendous for helping us to take that fine-tooth comb and go through all of this data and like figure out where the dots connect and what is complete nonsense. Like, we have the ability to do that as well, but we don't want to be just believing everything as it is presenting itself to us in this moment, because that is not likely to be where the whole story is. We just don't have access to it in that presentation. But you guys, like I said anyways, with Mercury at this specific degree in the third trine to Pluto, remember August 22nd, September 27th, today October 7th, spilling the tea, we may find ourselves really getting an earful of some news or some gossip. What is the revelation that everybody is talking about, especially in regards to these rulership classes, these elite classes, these authority, leadership, rulership, government type of stuff. They're even talking about aristocratic elderly ladies drinking tea in a wealthy home. Like, we're talking about like people in power, okay? Like, that's what we're hearing about. That's where the gossip is coming from. The way that this is playing out, and powerful, transformative, regenerative, energetic influence being represented through this dynamic playing out, pushing for, again, healing, Chiron simultaneously opposite the sun, through triggering these wounds so that we can gain the awareness, so that we can get to the root of it, so that we can purge it out, regenerate, heal, release, transcend, alchemize, hero's journey our way through life over this next couple of weeks, come into this place of a much greater state of self-mastery and really begin working to build our experiences going forward in alignment with what we wish to consciously create, you guys, instead of subconsciously creating that which we are continuously experiencing in these circular paths being represented by the position of the sun today at 15 degrees of Libra. So, all of that, we are breaking these karmic cycles, like I said, and it is through this energy, I feel like, this playing out today, tomorrow, and over this full moon, where I feel like we're gonna really start to kind of get it, okay? And also, like I said, with the moon in Pisces, business today, it could be like everything kind of just may feel a bit overwhelming and like hard to process. It may be like hard to believe or to wrap our head around the reality that we are actually discovering right now, and it just may be having like kind of a significant impact on us on an emotional level today. We don't want to be provoked into taking action, like I said, especially if we just don't feel ready to take an action, to make a choice, to make a decision, to head in a certain direction. Yeah, we have Mars today at 23 degrees of Gemini. That Sabian symbol is 3 fledglings in a nest high in a tree. So we are still, like I said, we are sort of holding back. We are developing our skills. We are gaining strength. We are gaining confidence. We are preparing ourselves like on a mental level. We are figuring out what direction we want to go and how we're going to get there, making sure that we have the strength and the ability to follow through with that before we jump. Okay. And we also have Venus right now today on Friday at 11 degrees of Libra, a professor peering over his glasses. So again, like I've said, observation, research, data collection, discernment as we seek the truth in things, because we really are looking to see things as they truly are. We are looking for the true colors and things. And with this very powerful Friday that we have going on, moving into this very powerful Saturday and very powerful full moon on Sunday that we have playing out, I think we are likely to really begin to find that. Now, Pluto, let's talk about Saturday. Let's move into Saturday. Pluto stationing direct. Pluto rules power in all of its forms. Pluto direct is definitely going to be putting an emphasis on people in power, shifts in power, abuses in power, and self-empowerment generally. This is going to bring up power dynamics across the board. Pluto stationing direct, like I've discussed, in the trine to Mercury in earth signs, we are likely to hear, see, read, encounter a lot about these themes of power. And this may be coming through also in news, media, social media, or just interactions and experiences, dynamics, interpersonal dynamics that are having a significant impact this weekend. The Sabian symbols that we have going on for Friday of all the personal planets are hyper relevant to me, and I feel like they are describing very clearly what is going on in this Pluto direct energy that we have on Saturday. The sun is at 16 degrees of Libra on Saturday. That Sabian symbol is after a storm, a boat landing stands in need of reconstruction. That is totally Pluto right there. Pluto destroys things and then it rebuilds them in a way that is much better than they were originally, in a much more evolved form. So this is talking about a force coming through that is sort of leveling things, wiping things out so that they can be reborn in a way that is more efficient, more productive, and more successful. The sign of Capricorn moving forward, able to endure and last last throughout the ages, last through the tests of time. And that's what we're doing, you guys, like I've been talking about. And, with this Mars Saturn energy as well and ending these karmic cycles, we are building and laying the foundations for the new legacies of the future that the age of Aquarius will be birthed from. And this Pluto Capricorn, last degrees of Capricorn, is doing that. It is leveling the power and control structures and dynamics of the past so that they can be reformed and transformed, regenerated based on what will carry us forward now, what will stand the test of time now. So the position of the sun today, I feel like, is talking all about this Pluto retro or Pluto direct energy. We have the earth at 16 degrees of Aries on Saturday. Nature spirits are seen at work in the light of the sunset. Again, the sunset, Scorpio, Pluto, the transformation, death and rebirth, going from the end of one thing that leads to a fresh rebirth, the end of one day, the sunset, the setting sun coming down, going in through a period, a dark night, right? To go through this rebirth process, the position of the earth today. And I feel like this is talking about the hand of God very, very much at work, and the divine support, the divine protection that is there for us as we're going through this period of time. This is talking about nature spirits are seen at work in the light of the sunset. This is like a divinely ordained moment in time, experience in time, and things need to happen in a certain way so that we can go through this rebirth, right? And even Uranus right now is at 19 degrees of Taurus. A new continent is rising from the ocean so that we can recreate this new reality in alignment with all of the necessary components of the age of Aquarius vibration that is coming in right now. We have Mercury. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. It's so crazy. We have Mercury at 28 degrees of Virgo, 1 degree orb off trine to Pluto for the day when Pluto stations direct. 28 Virgo, you guys, this is the Sabian symbol to me of all the Sabian symbols that puts the biggest emphasis on power. It's a bald-headed man in uniform who has seized power. power. Pluto direct, we're talking all about these themes of power. To me, again, this is emphasizing with Mercury in the trine to Pluto, shifts in power that may be going on as a result of underhanded corruption and abuses of power behind the scenes of things. This is also a bald-headed man. To me, this is a very mentalized reference as well. We're talking specifically about like the head. I feel like this is also a mental seizure of power. Like coming back to a place of mental self-empowerment as well, like taking back our power on a mental level and the impact that has in this process of healing, in this process of transformation. And we may be really discovering some things that are assisting Mercury and Pluto in the trine, facilitating, assisting us in that process. And the divine, the fairies, the nature spirits at work facilitating this process as well. So the fact that Mercury, the mind, what news, information, media is at that degree, a bald-headed man in uniform who has seized power for Pluto stationing direct in the end of Capricorn, like this is really powerful to me, you guys. This is like big to me. And also Venus, 12 degrees of Libra. Miners are emerging from a deep coal mine. First of all, what does coal give us, you guys? It gives us fuel. It gives us power, right? It is something that powers our ability to like do everything, and it's one of the forms of power that we use to fuel our existence essentially. And it's deep under the earth, right? It's hidden deep under the ground. Miners are emerging from a deep coal mine. Mercury, Venus ruling this Libra cycle. She's the ruler in charge of it all right now. Mercury in the trine to Pluto, Pluto stationing direct, emerging from this coal mine, coming out of the darkness with this internalized resource, fuel, sense of empowerment to propel us forward in a direction. And this really also, like I said, it is really impacting relationship dynamics because we have this Libra Aries polarity that is playing out as well, and we are heading into this Libra Aries full moon tomorrow that is putting an emphasis on highlight on relationship. But again, I do feel like it's more so a relationship to our own self with less of a focus on how that actually impacts our relationship dynamics with others at this point in time. But something miners are emerging from like we are coming out of the dark with the truth and with the resource that we need to fuel some type of forward movement, forward motivation. And then, like I said, Mars 23 Gemini, 3 fledglings in a nest, high in a tree. We are also high in a tree. We have the ability to observe. And that is Mars. That is our action. We should be observing. We should be gaining a higher overall view. This is also 3 fledglings. This is birds. This is a little birdie told me. This is like information, like chirp, 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 back and forth as well. This reminds me of like a Twitter type vibe also. But the fledglings, Mars, like they're not ready to fly yet. They still have some preparation. They have some practice. They have some training. They've got to gain the endurance. They've got to gain the strength. They've got to gain the confidence. They've got to choose the direction. They've got to know where they're going to fly to. They are not ready to take that leap yet. And that's also what I feel like this energy and this full moon energy coming up is also representing, is a period of time where we are gaining the necessary skills that we will need to take that leap, but we are not quite ready to do it yet. And then lastly, the last Sabian symbol I want to read today is the position of Jupiter in the sign of Aries as well. And actually, on Saturday, the moon will be leaving Pisces, entering Aries, and forming a conjunction to Jupiter. So we have a very Jupiterian energy that is going on alongside Pluto stationing direct. This is big emotions. This is big, big feelings. This is also emotional truth alongside this Pluto direct energy. And that degree, 3 degrees of Aries, where Jupiter is in conjunction with the moon for Pluto stationing direct, the cameo profile of a man in the outline of his country. So on one hand, again, this does bring in this like geopolitical dimension of things, but I do feel like this is talking about people generally beginning to embody their personal truth in a pretty big way. Whatever they are realizing is the truth of their authentic identity, I feel like people are expanding into with Jupiter at this degree and feeling pretty passionate and adamant about and heading off in a new direction in alignment with that, talking about the Aries vibe, bring the Aries vibe in as well. People could be feeling also quite patriotic just across the world. in this energy. So extremely powerful symbolism coming through on an extremely powerful and transformative day. Also with Pluto stationing direct, self-empowering, the moon in the conjunction to Jupiter, Jupiter in Aries. This is personal truth. This is self-confidence. This is belief and trust and faith in ourselves. This is hope for our ability to take a risk and to be successful. And it's really actually supported with Jupiter in Aries. And with the moon there, this is likely to be a much more self-empowering day than we may have experienced on Friday. Friday, with the moon in Pisces and activating that T-square in mutable signs, we may have been a bit all over the place. But in the energy for Saturday, leading into this full moon, yeah, we may still be dealing with some of these wounds that have been triggered, but I feel like we are feeling much more self-empowered, self-assured, and having a much greater sense of confidence, trust, and faith in our ability to move forward, like I said, with success and feel just a greater ability to stand in our own personal truth, self-empowered. Huge and powerful displays of emotion may also be something that is coming through in this energy with Jupiter in the conjunction with the moon, while Pluto stations direct. Powerful, transformative conversations, encounters that have a big emotional impact or influence on us as well. So much intense astrology is happening this weekend, you guys, and it has been happening. And I knew that, I felt like it would be, because we are in this midpoint of the year and this is a really significant year for us. But it is, like I was saying, it's like one of those periods of time, where what they say, like, so much, like it's like a decade's worth happening, like over the course of like just a few weeks that are playing out. And besides Pluto stationing direct today in the trine to Mercury, with the moon conjuncting Jupiter in Aries and building into all this full moon energy that we have tomorrow, this increased energy that is really like pumping us up towards what we have coming. Although, with Mars and square to Neptune, there really could be sort of a lack of motivation that is accompanying that as well. But we also have, like, this is our other rundown of aspects that we have like playing out on the side. And these are not just like little things. These are all big, significant aspects that are having an impact. Saturn exact square to Uranus, for one, in fixed signs. Mars only 1 degree off, exact square to Neptune in mutable signs. And we have Mercury sustaining a T-square right now as well, while Mercury is moving out of Virgo, working to exit his shadow from his retrograde period. We also have a grand trine in air signs playing out. Now, this is not an exact aspect, but it is pretty close. This is between the Sun, that is currently at 16 Libra, Saturn at 19 Aquarius, and Mars at 23 degrees of Gemini. Now, this is this energy, and even, Mars in the trine to Saturn as well, but especially with the Sun there, this is this energy that gives us like this tremendous ability to focus and to see the fine print, to see the details, and really to like perfect whatever it is that we are working on or whatever it is that we are putting energy into. So again, like, Saturn involved in all of this right now, so heavily involved. We want to be deliberate. We want to be cautious. We want to be careful. We want to be slow. Like I was saying in my full moon video, if you guys watched that, and if you didn't, this is something that I feel like is also coming up over this full moon cycle. It's like the tortoise versus the hare energy. Like, we really need to be the tortoise. This is not rush ahead energy. This is slow and steady wins the race for sure. And this is a time to really, like I said, dot our I's, cross our T's, pay attention to detail, not be in a rush to get somewhere to do something, but to make sure that what we are doing is being done right. That is what is going to be ultimately supported in this energy. And also, we do still have the Sun in the opposition to Chiron today, though it is not exact anymore. It's still only 1 degree off. And we also have Venus in an opposition, moving into an opposition with Chiron as well. And that could also be really impacting like financial markets and economies and value, like denominational value of stuff, and also value systems, what we value, stuff like that as well. So this is a lot, you guys, to be happening as a backdrop, building into this full moon with Pluto direct in the trine to Mercury and the Jupiter Aries moon conjunction going on today as well. We may also be feeling very connected to and inspired by our own personal truth. Like, we may be feeling very like inspired by our own potential potential actually in this energy as well. If again, we're not being pulled more so into the discouragement that also may be associated with what is playing out right now. But we really are taking back the reins of our own chariot over this next couple of days and beginning to direct it in our chosen along our chosen path, as opposed, again, like I said, to us sort of being at the whim of wherever our subconscious programming is pulling us based on what we're attracting, based on these unresolved issues going on within us. Universe is really trying to help us resolve those unresolved issues over this next couple days so that we can begin like steering our own ship, essentially moving forward into this new energy. And like I've been saying, you guys, big changes about to start happening, definitely happening in this energy. And we've got this full moon coming in right now that is going to be bringing or assisting us, facilitating for us a really powerful personal healing. And I feel like it's going to come through showing us the truth about a lot of things. Again, maybe about like our root core wounding or issues and how that has affected us and what that has created for us and how to release ourselves from that type of patterning, breaking karmic cycles as well. Or also, showing us the truth about other dimensions of our lives that are helping us to transform in a necessary way that is freeing us to move along a direction that is really supporting the growth and the fulfillment of our soul as we go through this process of self-actualization that is synonymous to the age of Aquarius energy that is coming in, you guys. So that is what I have to say for the astrology as it's playing out today. I got some tarot cards to talk about. We are going to go through the tarot very quickly because it's really giving just more of a very clear message, okay? The first cards that we had coming out, we have the King of Cups being clarified by the Page of Wands or the Ace of Wands. This to me is talking about some type of emotional self-empowerment that is coming as a result of whatever may be playing out in this energy. The next two cards that we had coming out were the Four of Pentacles being clarified by the Ten of Pentacles. I feel like this is talking about, whatever emotional self-empowerment that may be coming with this Pluto direct energy. I feel like it is also showing us the truth of our value in a way that we are finally truly embracing and holding on to. And I feel like this process that is happening is also Ace of Pentacles in reverse, over the Lovers in reverse, and then the Two of Pentacles on the back of the deck. This process of rediscovering and being empowered by the value that we are recognizing within us and coming to a place where we are like going to hold on to that going forward. I feel like that is actually ending the indecision that has been preventing us from being able to accept the new opportunities that universe is trying to hand us at this point in time. And I feel like that is, essentially the message that is playing out. There is this energy coming through that is giving us a new connection to our own relationship, to our own sense of self-empowerment. And that is helping us to align ourselves with an understanding that is allowing us to accept that which is coming to us instead of blocking it through our own indecision, our own ability to see clearly, our own disability, inability to act. So I feel like that is what is coming through in terms of the tarot message as it is presenting in conjunction with the energy. Let's grab one more card now. We're going to grab a synchronicity card. This is a message from God, Spirit, Universe. What do we need to know? We've got two cards that are coming out, so we are going to take both of them and see what they say. And this is a 2-day report. So, okay, it says, things are not as they seem, which is definitely what we know with Mars square Neptune. And also we got drink of inspiration. So things are not as they seem, and he shall separate them one from another as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. Matthew 25:32. You must know the difference between the false and the true. Remove the false and negative thoughts from your mind. Come to a definite decision in your mind that God within you is powerful and all wise, and nothing can oppose God. Remove the fear, the false thoughts. They are not real. Know God is opening doors for you. Know the path is being cleared. Know success and achievement is on its way to you so long as you remove the false fears. And I do feel like this is what the tarot message essentially was saying, that through this emotional sense of self-empowerment that we are gaining at this period of time based on this value that we are recognized with this. And King of Cups, this could also be a heightened spiritual connection that is coming through as well. That we are coming to a place where we are moving away from the state of indecision that perhaps has been plaguing us for a while. And then drink of inspiration. As cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a far country. Proverbs 25:25. You thirst spiritually when you lack joy, peace, inspiration, and confidence. Claim the living waters of the Almighty flow through you as wisdom, truth, and beauty, and as joy, harmony, power, and love. Accept this all as your own, and you will then draw from your spiritual waters all you need to give sustenance to your soul. Talking about healing our soul, providing sustenance to the soul with this full moon that is coming up in the sign of Aries in a conjunction to Chiron. This is the advice from God that should benefit us as we are going through whatever experiences we have over this next couple of days. So you guys, that is what I have to say. A message from the stars, a message from the cards. Very powerful period of time that we are in moving into this full moon. So I hope you liked it. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can give you a little bit of whatever you may be needing as you're navigating this period. If you guys did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it if you haven't subscribed already. If you would, it really helps my channel grow when you guys do that. Very grateful. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below. Also share it with your friends if you think that they would like this type of astrology content too. And leave me comments, you guys. I really appreciate your comments. I'm very, very grateful for your presence here, and I love knowing how these energies are affecting and impacting you as well. So that's what I have to say, you guys. Wishing everybody a beautiful weekend. Come back with me next week. I will be here. You should be here too. We are going to be moving through this full moon energy, and we are no doubt going to have a lot of astrology to talk about. So you don't want to miss it, and I will see you then, guys. Have a beautiful day, and until next time, bye.